a year-round category. Let's talk about this little guy. This is from Megabass. You know the little Z1 and Z2? I love those crankbaits. The Z1 in particular, when in the fall when we're fishing creeks, doing like the kayak drifting, or when I'm out on my jet boat, running in the rivers, that little Z1 is amazing. Well, they came out with the 2 and now a 3. So this 3 is a little, overall, it's a tiny crankbait. I mean, it is definitely a finesse size crankbait, but this little guy is going 13 foot. That's a big deal, right? That's a bait that will get down there. And Megabass came out with quite a few completely new, unique crawdad type colors in this bait that I just think are awesome. So for the guy who's fishing smallmouth, fishing spotted bass, or who's fishing a lot of clear water, that downsized profile is a killer little option. Now this one might throw you for a loop. I don't know if you've ever seen this bait. You ever seen this crankbait before? Look at the size of the bill compared to the size of the bait. It's ridiculous. Now, the reason I've never talked to you about this before is that I've crushed them on this thing, and I've crushed them for years on it. This is an Imakatsu. Here's one in the pack. Imakatsu. It's the 800 R2, okay? It's the 800 size. That's that giant bill. This bait pushed the limits of what you could do with a small profile and a giant bill, right? I mean, you cannot get a bill bigger than that and still get it to fish. You just can't do it. So the reason why you've never heard me talk about this bait is that it used to exist and they discontinued it. It went away. And when it went away, I mean, I was on eBay buying those things up, and I had a stockpile of them. It's just a very unique profile because I could get down super deep to about 18 foot. I could throw it on 10 to 12 pound line, and I can get super far down there, but with a small profile. Because the bait itself, I mean, it's small. I destroyed them on Clear Lake with this thing in the falls. That's when I used to throw it. Every fall, I just cream them on it. But then it went away. Well, all of a sudden, I'm on Tackle Warehouse doing my thing, looking at new stuff, and look what came back. So I bought another giant stockpile of them because just like always, of course, they brought out some new colors and I had to have them even though I already own a mountain of them. But seriously, that Imakatsu, that 800, pushes the limits of how deep and how aggressive a dive can be on a crankbait. Really a unique bait, and a bait that I've caught a lot of fish on, and I've caught some really, really big fish on. I'm happy to see that back. 2 more things for you. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. This little guy, Cat 3. How weird is that? It's basically a propeller, like fan blades. They're all angled so it'll spin, and then it's got blades on all of them. What this is a teaser. So you put this on your line above a bait. You could run it in front of a spinnerbait. You run it in front of a chatterbait. You can run it in front of a Bear Kitech. You could do a lot of different things with it, but it's adding a ton of vibration and a ton of flash to any of your other baits. So you could run it ahead of a leader, like with a bead down to a swivel. You can also run it on the line just on bobber stops above and below to hold it in place. But when you see this in the water, that's when it makes sense. It's a ton of flash, a ton of movement out in front of your traditional bait. And that is really innovative and really unique. It caught my attention. I saw underwater footage of it and instantly it caught my attention. I had to have them and they were out of stock. So I waited and waited and waited, and then I bought a pile of them. And then they were out of stock again. Then they came back again. It's been waves of these things over the last few months. And as of now, they are available, but really a unique option to add to your other baits. Again, oftentimes in spring, we get these floods of water and we end up with pretty murky conditions. And that is a unique way to get those fish's attention.